Let's take a look at the new rule changes for the 2021 to 2022 season. Here we go. At number 1, no celebrating. The NFL is back to being the no fun league. 4 years ago, the NFL relaxed its celebration rules, allowing players to have choreographed touchdown celebrations. It came after years of complaints from players and fans. And while the celebration rules remain relaxed, the NFL is still finding ways to take personality out of the game. For the 2021 season, officials are being instructed to have added emphasis on enforcing taunting rules. Players can't talk trash, gesture at, or mock an opponent to celebrate a play, and 2 taunting penalties in a game for an individual player will result in an ejection. The ejection isn't new, but the emphasis is. At number 2, more help from a replay official. Coaches have pushed for adding an 8th official to each crew and assigning them to a stadium suite with access to broadcast feeds and toggle technology. For now, however, owners and competition committee members consider the idea to be both fantasy — they don't think there are enough qualified candidates — and an intrusion on the basic tenet that games should be officiated on the field. Will it work? It won't hurt. In truth, some referees already ask their replay officials for off-the-books help during games via their wireless microphone connection, but most replay officials have not worked as conventional on-field officials, and their advice will not be binding. Referees can ignore it altogether. Other referees will be highly motivated to avoid mistakes that could impact their crew's evaluation. Ultimately, there will still be a high volume of questionable calls that are clearly visible on the broadcast, but ineligible to be discussed with the replay official. At number 3, onside kick adjustment. In 2020, only 3 onside kicks were recovered on 67 attempts, the NFL's lowest total and recovery rate since at least 2001. The total recovery rate since 2018 rule change has been 8.3%, much lower than its average during the previous 2 decades, 19.7%. Several teams have proposed an alternative that would give a scoring team the option to replace the kickoff with a single offensive play at its 25-yard line. If they gain 15 yards or more, they could maintain possession. But owners have rejected the proposal multiple times, including one this spring by the Philadelphia Eagles. Instead, they adopted a suggestion from special teams coaches to limit the number of players in the setup zone to 9. At number 4, more flexibility with jersey numbers. A series of pandemic-related rule changes last season, including an increase to 16 practice squad members and the ability to activate some of them for games, led several teams to run out of jersey numbers. The shortage prompted the Kansas City Chiefs to propose that single digits be allowed for running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defensive backs, and linebackers. Owners approved the change for the 2021 season, and now it's time to get funky. At number 5, blocking below the waist. A proposal to expand the prohibition of blocking below the waist was tabled to address lingering questions, but McKay said it probably could have passed this week, despite the questions, and that it's likely to be taken back up next month. The rule in essence would expand the area where offensive players can't block below the waist, and defensive players can't upend offensive players who are moving toward a block in the area. For those technically inclined, the proposal creates a tight end box outside of the tackle box where the block is allowed, defined as 2 yards outside the tackle and 5 yards on either side of the line of scrimmage. Beyond that area, blocks below the waist would be a 15-yard penalty. At number 6, loss of down after 2 passes. You might remember a Week 11 game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Los Angeles Rams, during which Bucs quarterback Tom Brady caught a deflected 3rd down pass and threw it to the receiver Mike Evans for an 8-yard gain. Such passes are illegal, and Brady was penalized. But Rams coach Sean McVay declined the penalty because he didn't want to give the Bucs a second attempt at converting a 3rd down. This week, owners approved a tweak that would also add a loss of down to such plays. At number 7, no overtime in the preseason. Mercifully, finally and at long last, the NFL has eliminated overtime for games that don't count anyway. The only thing better than ending overtime for preseason games would be abolishing the preseason altogether. For anyone keeping score, of course, there hadn't been an overtime game in preseason since 2014, and we've only seen 16 since the start of 2001, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. But it wasn't worth the risk of such a ridiculous exercise. Will it work? Yes! Well guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Sport Utopia, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.